Good evening, everybody. This is Mark. Thank you for attending the second episode of the Fastbreak Show. Unfortunately, today, Coach Tiff could not make it. They had a road trip last night at Charleston Southern. She had prior obligations. So I do have my homie JD Wyatt from Southern Fried Sports. He's going to be joining us. He is actually a fellow Clinton native. Has some great perspective on PC sports. He has some great relationships, including with the winningest coach in PC basketball, Coach Greg Niebert. He has some interesting stories. He's going to talk to us about that. We're going to also recap the game from last night. We're going to talk about senior night that's coming up this Saturday with the Lady Blue Hose hosting Longwood. And then we'll also preview the show for next week. First of all, if you have not hit the subscribe button or if you have not hit the like button, please take the time out to do that for me. I'm going to go ahead and let JD introduce himself. And also, please give my man a follow and a subscribe as well, as he'll be following ours. And he's always got some great topics he likes to discuss. So, JD, tell me a little bit about yourself, my friend, please, sir.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, Mark, thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate you very much. We randomly met when I was walking the dog, I think, right down the road. So if I didn't have a dog, we maybe would have never met. And so we bonded over South Carolina football a little bit. Of course, baseball. I think the whole Kingston story was really big when we started talking. And coming up on my show tonight, we're going to dive into some college baseball, some NASCAR. But most of all, y'all just make sure to hit subscribe. I'm going to see if I can't keep Coach Tiff's seat warm for her when she is ready to come back next week. You got players coming, athletic director, big things going on. And don't forget Greenville Sports Media, where Mark does all of this through. He's got articles up, and he's going to be covering the big, what is it? The Big Sky, Big South?
Big South.
Big South.
Yes, that's one thing I was going to talk about, too. We both go for Greenville Sports Media. JD covers mostly Furman right now. He works as also the Greenville Sports Media, the Furman Joust. I do a lot of PC, but I'm also I've also started covering the whole Big South. So during baseball season, I will be traveling across the Big South. So I'll be bringing live shows and stuff like that on location. Also, go ahead and let's get paid a little bit right quick with our sponsors, Hyundai of Anderson. They are one of our main sponsors, as well as Artist Burgers and Beef and Ribs as well. So make sure if you are in the Anderson area and you want to try some good food or in need of a car, please let them know and let them know that Greenville Sports Media sent you. JD, do you have anything else you want to add before we get started talking about the PC basketball game from last night?
No, other than that, yep. Like I said, y'all make sure to hit subscribe on Mark. Make sure to hit subscribe at the Southern Fried Sports JD on YouTube as well. And no, man, let's talk about Clinton. And we call ourselves Clintonians, by the
way. Well, see, like I said, man, I'm from right up the road in Newberry, so we had quite the rivalry from back in the day. So huge rivalry back in the day. I remember playing baseball. And we would go to Clinton and they would throw rocks at our bus. I was telling Coach Tiff about that last week. One thing I want to talk about before we get started, thank everybody for making last week's show a success. We had 76 views on the channel as well as 18 subscribers. So that's very, very big for the first show. Last night, we had Charleston Southern. They played host to our Lady Blue Hose. Lady Blue Hose did come up a little bit short in a 13-point loss last night to the Charleston Southern Buccaneers. One thing I have noticed when I watch these games, the Lady Blue Hose get off to slow starts in the first quarter. For whatever reason, the second quarter, they always make a run. They were able to cut lead to 4 points at halftime. However, they weren't able to close the deal. So another tough loss last night in Charleston for the Lady Blue Hose. They did have some good spots, though. Kishaya had 16 points and 3 rebounds and 3 assists. She knocks her 16th double-figure game of the season. So she's definitely continuously rolling right now. Paige Kansas also had 11 points. She knocks in another double-figure game. So basically, Aminata Tal, who is one of the guards, she was able to notch out 11 points as well. One thing I saw in Coach Sarden's post-game presser, she did say that their transition defense did struggle a little bit last night. Charleston Southern does have a couple of quick guards. She said last week. She did say that was a concern from them, and it looks like they did have a little bit of a tough time on the transition defense. But they did shoot 37%. They did out rebound Charleston Southern last night. But also one of the things is they had 30 points in the paint. So, they did have some good things they could take away from last week's game. But the last night's game to bring into this Saturday as they play host to Longwood. Longwood is the #1 team in the Southern Conference right now. So that should be a good one. It'll be senior night. If you are in the Clinton area, please come out. There are some great basketball. It's a great scene. Coach Sarden is trying to build something really, really special here. So please come out to support them, okay? I don't know if you know much about the PC women's basketball right now. I know you're busy doing the Furman stuff, man, but they've had a little bit of a tough year. They've had some good games, and they've had some games where they've should have closed out. But like I said, they definitely are trying to build something, my man.
Well, I loved where Coach Sarden played at Virginia. She seems like she absolutely 100% knows what she's talking about. So I have no doubt that they'll get this thing righted. And I did take a deep dive though into their team stats, and I pulled those up. So obviously right now 5-19, 3-8 in the conference. But if you go through their team stats and just look at their overall numbers, there were a few that really struck me that if they can get these corrected, they will be a dominant team. They will be a force to be reckoned with, potentially. And so, I mean, you look, though, only scoring 52.5 per game, giving up 65.5. That's a -13 deficit. So, obviously, that's a huge deal. You're already in the hole there. But if you go a little deeper into their shooting, they're only shooting 36% field goal percentage. They're giving up 42%.
Mm-hmm.
3-pointers, they're only shooting 22%, but only giving up 29%. So they're close, it seems like, from what some of these stats are telling me based on what I'm looking at.
And see, last night's game was tough, man, because Charleston Southern shot 50% from 3-point last night, and I believe PC was at 27 or 29% last night. So they made 10 3-pointers from Charleston Southern. So that's your difference right there. But one thing that they have been played with is also they've had some turnover issues. That Coach Sarden says she has been working on.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice the games they win, they usually have single digits in turnovers. Games they lose are the games they lose the worst. You see, they're giving up a lot of points on turnovers, and if you look at it, go deeper into it, those turnovers are turning into points as well for the other team. So, if you're giving teams extra possessions, it's definitely going to be tough. But I think, like I said, Coach Sarden's got the experience. Like I said, she used to coach at Clemson. She used to coach at St. Louis. She's coached at Longwood. She's been around for a while. She played at Virginia. Somebody very famous up there in Columbia used to play for Virginia as well, college basketball. So, they know what they're doing up there, and I think she'll get this thing right. This week, like I said, they play Longwood. Along with the number one team in the Big South, it'll be a Black History celebration, as well as they'll have a special ceremony at halftime. It's going to be honoring the three seniors on the team as well. So it should definitely be a good outing and a good atmosphere. So if anybody's in the Clinton area, like I said, please come out and support these women. They play very, very hard. It's a great atmosphere. I have a lot of fun at these games. Unfortunately, I won't make it to this weekend's game. Unfortunately had a friend of mine who passed away from cancer, so I do have to go attend a funeral. So I won't be able to make it this Saturday. But I will be following them. Jesse, the sports information director, he sends me recaps and things. So I will still be writing up the article about it, and I'll do a special article for the seniors. So yeah, so we'll still be having the good following from those from the game. But like I said, unfortunately, I won't be able to make it. Saturday, do you have anything on your plate, JD?
Yeah, I've got quite the busy day on Saturday. There's a Furman game, but I won't be able to make it to that either. We have my son's 5th birthday party coming up Saturday. He turns 5 on Sunday, what we like to call Daytona Day. He was born on the Daytona 500 day back in 2020. And so, yeah, we've got his birthday party, and he's got a little league or T-ball baseball evaluation. So,
cool.
yeah. So, and who knows? I might even be coaching. We'll see if I have the time for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got a big day Saturday again. And I wanted to send condolences to your friend. And then one last comment. You literally had mentioned the turnovers. That was the next stat I had pulled up. 21 a game. That is a insane number. If they can get that turned around, they'll be good to go for PC women for sure.
Yeah,
And
and a
yeah,
lot of
y'all
times
go
that's
to the
just
game.
mental. A lot of times turnovers is just mental. Like I said, if you've ever watched the games, if I send you the recaps, you can see the first quarter they always have a slow start, and then the second quarter they come barreling in and make a run every single game. And then the third quarter they'll make a little run, and then the fourth quarter. So if they can just put together 4 quarters of basketball, they're going to be right. So I don't think there's anything to worry about from the team going forward. He's got a few things to correct, and they'll be okay. But one thing I interested was whenever you talked about, you have previous experience with PC. You said you used to play basketball in the gym with your friends. Your friend's dad was Coach Greg Niebert, who is obviously royalty in the PC community. Coached there for a very, very long time, and was the winningest coach in PC history. So if you have some neat, cool stories that you want to share with our viewers, we definitely love to hear them so we can get the insight on Coach Niebert.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've got quite a few stories about them, and I'll try to keep them together and kind of ramble them all out. But yeah, of course, I went to Clinton High School there, and at the time, there were quite a few athletes that had gone from Clinton to PC to play. Stayed right there in their hometown, went to play for PC. My cousin Nikki Templeton played basketball there in the Templeton Center. Her last name is Templeton. She is now an assistant athletic director or the athletic director at Greenville High School. So yeah, I had a cousin that played at PC, had several of my good buddies that I played, baseball with when I was like 8, 9 years old. These guys went and played football at PC. Marlon Tribble and Shatwan Reeder. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some more. I had another baseball player of mine, James Copeland. He went and played baseball at PC. And so there for a while, 15, 20 years ago, Clinton was a pipeline to PC. And yeah, I had a good friend of mine, Sean Nybert, who was Coach Greg's son, who coached for 28 seasons at PC. And the man only had 2 losing seasons until they decided to up the level of play. And I think that kind of led to him resigning, plus, getting up there in age, done it for 28 years. So he did end up resigning. He even was an assistant at Furman before he came down to PC. So everything kind of ties in together there with Furman, PC, Limestone, North Greenville, all of these guys. They're all recruiting the same pipeline, local high school talent, which is what we like to highlight. And yeah, we got to play in the gym though every Sunday. My mom would be like, "Where you at?" Playing basketball at PC. Me, Brandon Bond, Ryan Webb, Sean Nybert, my cousin Casey. Oh God, whoever we could get, man. Sean, we could go get into the stadium there, play basketball, get in free to the games. I went to so many PC men's basketball games during 2005 season. It was ridiculous. And Greg, though, him and his wife, just fantastic people overall. They were featured on ESPN for how they fostered children who were victims of domestic abuse or bad situations. And Peggy, she was highlighted on a Mother's Day edition on ESPN. And they just fantastic people, man. PC is near and dear to my heart, like really.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I come from the rival. I started out college at a Newberry College. So back then, Newberry College and PC were big rivalries. Like I was telling Coach Tip,
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, football, that game was played on Thanksgiving Day. You would eat turkey, and then we would go to either the PC field or the Cecil Field in Newberry and watch the game for the Bronze Derby. So we used to be a bit used to be a big thing, man. Like I said, I went to Newberry College. I started out there, and so did you get to participate in the PC Newberry rivalry while you was like hanging out? Did you get to see any of those games, or that
Uh-huh.
rivalry about ended by then?
No. It always Clinton Newberry have a rivalry, even if it's the high school versus high school, and PC versus Newberry College. I don't know that I ever made it to one of their games. I did go to Bailey Memorial Stadium though, like the
Mm-hmm.
weekend it opened.
Oh, okay.
I forget how we even had tickets, but yeah, me and my dad we went up the weekend that Bailey Memorial Stadium, PC's new football stadium. We went
Yeah.
there when it opened. It could have very well been them playing Newberry, but no, it
Yeah,
wasn't. Now that I
that game was always
remember,
played on Thanksgiving Day.
yeah, it was like Carson Newman, maybe.
Probably that could be.
I think that, and I think PC lost bad, if I
Yeah.
remember right.
And the one thing I love, man, like I said, I developed a great relationship. I've loved covering PC. One of the biggest things I'm trying to do with this is shining light on the smaller schools, especially the women's sports.
Hmm.
Not as many people are if it ain't Dawn Staley in this state, nobody's really talking about it as far as the women's sports. And there's some really good basketball being played. I mean, like I said, I've had a chance to go to Wofford, for a couple of games, but like I said, PC, I've developed a great relationship with them, and I'll be covering them in baseball as well as football, and I'll be at that stadium as well as all over the Big South. So, man, so Southern Fried Sports. You can take some road trips with me on Saturdays and stuff like that, and go catch some of these games as well.
Right. Well, I'm assuming, and I haven't checked South Carolina's schedule yet, but I'd be willing to bet that they play PC or Radford or a big South school at some
Oh
point.
yeah, oh yeah. Then that's what I'm hoping for, man. I can get to Columbia for one of those games, for one of those big. I'm sure like it'll be a most likely a midweek game,
Right.
most likely. But if I
Those
can
were
get to
always my
Columbia,
favorite to go to.
what's that?
Honestly, those were always my favorite to go to.
Well,
Honestly, the
I,
midweek games.
I tell people all the time when it comes to baseball, because everybody will talk about a team like South Carolina could lose to a team like PC or Furman, and I tell people baseball and football is totally different, man. Because in baseball, they always have that one pitcher or player who's going to probably go to the minors, and got a couple other players that are getting their rising, and those guys will always play in those midweek games. And in the midweek games, the bigger schools will not have their aces starting and stuff like that. So it's a lot different in baseball than any other sport. Those midweek games. So I've seen South Carolina lose a many of those. Even the years that we won the College World Series, man, we still, we lost a couple of those midweek games. But those are a lot of fun. But I am looking forward to going to cover PC baseball. Like I said, I done talked to Jesse about covering the games. Trying to hope to get the baseball coach to do a show with me, but baseball's a little bit different from basketball, like you said, so not as much, you're playing a few games a week, and it's a lot different. But so yeah, I'm still planning on doing that. Um, I love
You're
stories.
covered, by the way.
What's that?
You're already covered. You're good to go. Winthrop. They play at Winthrop, February 18th.
Oh,
So there's already one Big South school that they play.
and that's at Winthrop, or is that in
Yeah,
Columbia?
at Rock Hill.
Oh, okay. I'm definitely trying to get to that then. Uh, like I said, I got to reach out to Winthrop's SID about covering that game so they can expect me. But I'm definitely trying to get to there. But right now, like I said, this is about PC. PC, like I said, I will be doing a baseball preview on PC as far as an article. Like I said, right now I'm sticking with basketball with Coach Tiff right now until basketball season's over. And one thing that I've noticed about Coach is she's not scared to go outside of South Carolina. When you look at this roster and you look at the players that she's bringing in, when you see these smaller schools, you think maybe they get some of the local talent and stuff like that. But they got they got kids from Arizona, New York, Georgia. Like I said, they got people playing from overseas who came over. So she's definitely scoping out the talent. And one thing I want to talk to her about next week, and like I said, me and you've even discussed, is how did she do her recruiting, and to bring these kids to a small town like Clinton, who most people have never heard of, and let's face it, there's not a lot to do. So what is what is her selling point? I would think could be the athletic director, because Coach Tiff said that the athletic director, who I will be having on this show eventually, was one of the main selling points for her coming. So I think that that might have a lot to do with it. I think the athletic director has a lot to do with it. I think Coach Sarden, the way she presents herself, and her style of play, and her future expectations and goals, I think that can be attractive as well. So it's definitely going to be interesting, though, my friend.
Oh yeah, and PC they have a strong alumni basis right there in Clinton, and like I mentioned and just earlier, Clinton used to be a pipeline for Clinton High School. Tons of athletes went and played multiple sports over there at PC back in the day, and they yearn for homegrown talent. They yearn for competitive sports, and that was really strange to me, though, Coach Tiff having so many players from so far away.
Yeah, that definitely struck me, man. Like I said, when I would go to the games and I hear the starting lineups and I look and I see where all these players are coming from, that's not what I was expecting. Like I said, I was expecting more to see more people. Like I said, in Clinton, Newberry, Greenville, upper part of the state, stuff like that. But she's develop a pipeline. Like I said, I think she's got a few junior college transfers. So I think she's definitely building relationships. And I think that also comes from her background. She used to coach at the University of St. Louis. She's coached at Clemson. She's coached at Longwood, and she went and she's from Virginia. She played at the University of Virginia. So she's probably built relationships along the way that with the local high schools that's probably paid dividends and for her whenever she's goes to do recruiting and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to talk to her more about that next week. So hopefully we'll get those addressed and kind of find out a little bit more insight on that next week's show.
Right, absolutely. That'd be a fantastic question, and I would even take it maybe one step further and say, now that we talk about her connections and everything, it makes a ton of sense that she can have such a low recruiting budget and recruit kids so far away.
Right.
And she can't necessarily lay her own two eyes on them. So she's taking maybe advice or opinion from other connections from that part of the country that she's talked to for people she trusts. And so, yeah, I would really like to know how that comes about for her, for sure.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I think next week's show that's gonna be a good topic of discussion. And and the thing is, a couple of the players that she'll have on next week were some of those out of state kids. So I can even we'll talk to them and ask them how the recruiting process went for them and what made them comfortable enough to come to Clinton. So I think next week's show will be very interesting to find that information. All right. So we got 5 minutes left here, my man. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a chance to talk about your show tonight. So maybe our viewers can swing by your channel, tell what you're going to be talking about tonight, what you're going to be covering. Then I'm going to preview next week's show, and then we'll wrap things up here, my friend.
All righty. Well, yep, we're going to talk a little bit about Furman basketball from last night. Their blowout win against Mercer. I'm a NASCAR guy, y'all. So on Southern Fried Sports, I give you the Southern Fried opinion. I talk all sports. If I have an opinion on it, you'll get it. So y'all make sure to hit subscribe. Y'all make sure to tune in. We'll be live at about 9:05. I think the time will be there. We're going to talk some college baseball getting underway. North Greenville, coached by former Gamecock Landon Powell, by the way. Bro, they got a great team. They've been good for several years.
Well, Landon is the transfer portal king, man. He is bringing those guys in from like all these top schools that are transferring out and trying to get playing time. So he's developed a steady program there, man. A lot of people wanted him to come to South Carolina. Not sure he's ready yet. I think the coach they got now could be a good setup for either Monty Lee taking over after a couple of years or bringing in Landon Powell. So I think that's gonna be something interesting to watch also. But you guys make sure y'all do subscribe to Southern Fried Sports. I will be over there as well. We have a lot of fun. It's more like I said. We talk about all sports. I don't know anything about NASCAR, but I'll still tune in for that stuff. But we talk about football, baseball, basketball, any sports you could think of. And one thing that JD is good about is getting the crowd, getting the chat involved. He does address the chat, so it's definitely a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, well, hey, and I'm gonna tell you now, I will fry some things, I will cook some things, I will burn some things, and tonight NASCAR is gonna get burned over one thing. Helio Castroneves, I got a huge issue with that, so yeah, y'all might want to tune in for that.
Definitely tune in. I'll be over there, like I said, 9:05. Also, next thing, also just a preview next week's show. Next week, Coach Sarton will be back. We'll have two players. We'll have Paige Kenseth on with us, who's a former Big South Player of the Week, who's been one of the top players on the team, averaging double figures per game. We'll have Daniela Valdez also, who will be joining us next week as well. So we'll be able to pick their brains on some things that brought them to PC and how they're enjoying it and stuff like that. So next week's show should be a lot of fun. JD will probably be, in the comments and stuff like that, viewing the show with us. But if you don't have anything else to add, JD, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up so you can get things prepared for your show, my friend. You have anything you want to add, man?
Just the one last thing. Shout out PC. Shout out Coach Tiff. Hopefully I kept your seat warm for you. Hopefully I gave you some questions that I want to hear your answers. And I can't wait to hear from the players. Can't wait to hear from the athletic director. Shout out Clinton. Shout out the Clinton Red Devils. Go Blue Hose. Y'all are amazing. Much love, Clinton.
All right. Well, I appreciate you joining us tonight. Keeping Coach Tiff's seat warm tonight. Hopefully she gets to watch the show. Hope she's proud. And like I said, shout out to my PC family. I'm definitely loving, the vibe I'm getting here. Can't wait to keep covering onto the summer sports and into the fall. But right now, we're going to go ahead and sign off for the night. And like I said, don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button on here. We definitely want to keep growing this community. I want more people to be able to see things about PC sports, but also go over there, Southern Fried Sports JD, hit my man up. Give him a subscribe. Like I said, he's got a lot of fun stuff. He's always at the Furman games also. I know, Furman PC still yet, but he's always got some good clips and things like that he gets to share as well. So you guys have a good night. And JD, I'll see you in about 20 minutes, my friend.
All right. Y'all be blessed, not stressed, and just be kind to one another.
There you go. Thank you, guys.